Hello. Today my presentation is on the paradox of the Civil Rights Museum. So, what's so important about it? Firstly, this remarkable building is a powerful place that tells the story of so many before us that have withstood the agonizing pain and fight for civil rights, the most basic necessity that was ripped from the grasp of Black Americans. The museum was presumably built to educate and demonstrate the sacrifices made by activists and the progression of unity within the Black community. Why does Memphis care about the Civil Rights Museum? Um, it's arguably one of the many debated controversies of the ever-changing city that is Memphis. The Civil Rights Building is said to glorify countless deaths, including the most well-known figure in history, Martin Luther King Jr. Instead of it being an attribute to educate, it has instead been said to be an quote unquote tourist trap that focuses on violence. The community, but most importantly, the renowned activist whose name is Jacqueline Smith, have shared their stance on the museum. The argument is that there is a disconnect between Dr. King's dreams and aspirations and what the Lorraine Motel actually can offer to people. The museum is described as a monument to injustice which desecrates the memory of Martin Luther King. Um, the site of the motel was purchased by the Lorraine Civil Rights Museum Foundation, which operates the museum for $144,000 in 1982. Construction cost was $8.8 million and was jointly financed by the states of Tennessee, the city of Memphis, and surrounding Shelby County. Hundreds of millions of dollars of investment has since transformed this part of Memphis, which is like downtown Memphis. Um, yeah, it has transformed downtown Memphis. The museum recently completed an upgrade of $28 million. If you sit and process how much $28 million is, it's a lot of money. So Jacqueline's whole dream about, well, her whole proposition is um, that she wanted to convert the Lorraine Motel into sheltered housing for the poor and displaced, or a community center or a facility for the needy. However, the quest for greed consumed the area. A land grab took place during the 1980s and 90s, driving up the cost of housing in the area. And this in turn has transformed this traditional working area for ordinary people into an extension of the tourist boom of Bill Street, and a magnet for wealthy spectators, basically just tourist people who live outside of Memphis. Um, Here are, you can see that these are a few things that I found on social media about Jacqueline and about people that actually support what Jacqueline is fighting for. Here are a lot of key artifacts that I found here and there. But basically, the articles are really just it was a controversy back then because a lot of people didn't know if they wanted to um, rebuild the motel, well, rebuild Lorraine for it to continue to be a motel for people, or if they wanted to reconstruct it as a shrine, or if they wanted to reconstruct it into a museum. But ultimately, the state of Tennessee decided to go for a museum. So, how does this affect our community? Systemically, our community has already been dismantled, but with manufactured culture being sold and globalized into tourism attractions, more money is being thrown into these places, leaving other parts of Memphis unattended and uncared for. Businesses are profiting off of a glamorized idea of Black trauma. This reflects negatively of the city and its residents. Obviously, it wouldn't affect negatively to people who don't live in Memphis, but for people that are Memphians, that are born Memphians, it's almost like a slap in the face. They spent $28 million to renovate a museum when there is poor parts of Memphis that are at least, I want to say like 12 miles away from downtown. And it's a wonderful place called Fraser. I would not recommend going to Fraser. I don't even go to Fraser. I'm quite scared to go there. But it's a part of Memphis that actually needs money poured into it. I mean, I can see why the government or state of Tennessee feels like they don't need to pour money into it because the commu the community is already like tearing it apart themselves. But I promise you, if the city acts like they care about Memphis, then maybe Memphians will actually care about their community. Like they don't have a chance to care because nobody else cares about them. Like, look, if you have a phone, you might want to look up what Fraser looks like on your phone, or maybe look it up on social media. Then you will see. But there are a lot of poor parts. The city doesn't care, so why should they care? So I understand why people are angry. I would be angry, especially if I live in a poor part of Memphis and I pay taxes. Where is my tax money going to? Because I still live in a ghetto. Nobody is renovating anything. The streets look horrible. The houses look horrible. The stores look horrible. There's a liquor store on quite literally every single corner. I can't even count on my hand if there are any parks. Um, it's definitely not a Starbucks. I'm pretty sure there's a McDonald's. Um, there are cigar stores, nicotine stores, nothing with substance. I think the only grocery store that they have, it's not even Aldi's. I think it's I can't remember what it's called. I guess it's like a Value Mart grocery store, which is basically all the food is off brand food. So um it was just something to think about. I guess my closing remarks would be, when is Memphis going to start caring about Memphis? It seems as though Memphis cares about people that are not even from Memphis, aka the whole downtown area. I mean, I understand that it is a place for tourists. I mean, it has been revamped, rebuilt to attract specifically tourist people. We hit on this in chapter 5 in our book about globalization and popular culture. I mean, we are really commodifying our culture just to profit off of it. But yeah, I guess my closing remark would be, when is Memphis going to start caring about Memphis? And it's people that live there, not people that are coming from out of state. So that is pretty much all that I have. Thank you for listening.